A couple of days ago, I ended up tweeting out a question that's kind of taken over my mind in the last 10 days to 2 weeks here whenever it happened. This in regards to Warzone and Call of Duty that basically questions, at this current pacing, if it keeps up, will we launch the presumed Modern Warfare 2019 sequel of Modern Warfare 2 into Modern Warfare 2019 to access Warzone? I mean, that'd be kind of awkward, right? To take that sequel and then go all the way back to launch one other experience. So that got me thinking, and still has had me thinking for as long as this tweet has been up, when will we see this sort of standalone application, if at all, for Warzone? And does that also then tie in with the next-gen update we're supposed to be getting for Warzone at some point? We don't know when, but will it be happening? And if so, when could it be happening? So today I want to kind of take a just general discussion here, examine maybe what we can learn here and what we can see for both of those topics. So as we go along, let me know your thoughts down below. Realistically speaking, when do you think a Warzone standalone application or next-gen update will be happening? Obviously, the answer could be as soon as possible when we want to see it, but realistically, when do you think it would happen? As well, if you enjoyed the video, make sure to drop a like down below. Doing both that and commenting on the video helps out the video greatly in the algorithm, so that's always greatly appreciated. And if you are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button to stay up to date with all things Warzone, COD 2021, Modern Warfare, anything COD related. We got you covered here on the channel. That said, let's jump right into the discussion at hand. Okay, so this thought that's been kind of consuming my brain started almost 2 weeks ago, because I truly do wonder if or when Warzone will get its own standalone application. I was booting up between Cold War and Modern Warfare, that cross-launch, and I just thought to myself, this is kind of a cool process, but at the same time, kind of weird because in a lot of times it's counterintuitive. Cross-launch often takes longer than just closing the app and starting up another one, but regardless, that thought stuck with me. How long would this cross-launch thing last for going into Warzone? Because wouldn't it just be incredibly weird to boot up Modern Warfare 2019 from Modern Warfare 2 in 2022 just to launch Warzone? It'd be weird to see that Modern Warfare in 2022 boot as a sequel into the original. Now, absolutely, I think that anti-cheat is the first priority here, and we'll mention that a bit further later on in the video, but why does Warzone need its own standalone application or next-gen update per se? Well, I mean, besides that weird continued use of Modern Warfare's EXE for Warzone that we see now, if we'd have to make that awkward jump from sequel to original, we're still missing out on a lot of support from a key demographic of the intended platforms and player base. That experience isn't quite utilizing everything that it has on offer for a handful of platforms that the game is playable on right now. As it stands right now, there is no proper Xbox Series X, Series S, or PlayStation 5 build of the game. If you go and look at Modern Warfare and or what's branded as Warzone whenever you boot it up, you'll see that the current builds of the game are for the air quote last gen of consoles. I don't really think it's fair to say current generation just yet, given that there's still so many people that don't have access to these consoles, but moving forward, if we were to see Warzone as that staple of Call of Duty for years to come, as it's being branded and said it wants to be, that's a serious concern for support, because it'd be an incredible misuse of tool sets to not take advantage of the current hardware and technical advances on those new consoles. But right now, Warzone just isn't properly utilizing it. So why is a next-gen update important? Well, as opposed to the last-gen consoles of Xbox One, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X and S offer a lot more in terms of that hardware capability, including what we start to see now in sort of a somewhat updated build here to this is proper 120Hz support for Warzone and things like that. That actually is something that has been built out for Xbox Series X and PlayStation 5 now, where you can do both of those things, but when it comes to the other hardware adjustments, not a whole ton has been really optimized. Things like frame rate customization, graphical customization potentially, and the biggest one of the bunch is one that honestly offers some differentiations between gameplay and some competitive advantage, is an FOV slider. Now, consoles have FOV sliders for Black Ops Cold War, but whenever talking about this months and months ago here, whenever, honestly, I can't even remember the time frame in which this happened, it might have been around the launch of Modern Warfare, this was a topic of discussion that was introduced, but was answered by the development team at Infinity Ward, stating technical limitations as to why it was not available within Modern Warfare. That could have been a limitation for Warzone, where loading such a giant world on the current hardware of consoles, plus an FOV slider would have made for some frame rate dropping and things like that, but an FOV slider having that ability to see an extra bit of peripherals is incredibly advantageous, and honestly is one of the main reasons I love playing on PC. Graphical customization, frame rate customization, and things like that obviously are phenomenal as well, but the FOV having that ability to see more of the world around you is absolutely something that I hope that console players can end up having at their disposal here sometime soon. But this was so much a big discussion that even during a pre-briefing for Season 3 here, a couple of days before Season 3 launched, creators, press, and everything had a Zoom call with Raven and Treyarch talking about the content ahead. And during a brief Q&A portion here at this, Amos Hodge had this question directed at him. Creative director at Raven Software, he ended up answering the question of, does Raven have plans for Warzone to get PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X support? To which he said, we are a live service, we have a whole tech team dedicated to this, and there will be updates. But also a more direct question in relation to FOV in particular, of any plans for FOV slider for consoles in Warzone. Now this was asked in relation to the update regarding Season 3, but as we know that didn't actually happen, but Amos Hodge ended up stating, this is something we're aware the community wants and we're definitely looking at it for the future. Now we're 4 months into the future as opposed to when this event happened, so the question still remains and is still valid, but this absolutely could be something that we see in development right now potentially, because as of recently it was reported that Warzone's development team at Raven has grown by almost 50%, meaning that the team has hired over 100 additional team members in the last year, also stating that there's roughly 40 more positions to fill that are currently available to do so. So that could exponentially expand the team even further as well. So it certainly seems like the hands-on approach is being expanded at the very least, and hopefully there's something to show for it here sometime in the near future. But when would this update, this standalone application, this next-gen update actually be? When would that be released? Again, Amos Hodge only answered these questions in relation to Season 3, but obviously nearly 2 seasons later, we still don't have an answer. And with it being such a tall order, that itself I think would be something that warrants its own marketing push to either be solely focused on Warzone or maybe pair it in with something else in relation to an upcoming launch as well. But that might be getting ahead of ourselves here, but I see this going one of a few different ways. Number one, this next-gen update, this standalone application, is truly a while off. When you consider the fact that Warzone is built around Modern Warfare's base application file, that same EXE as Modern Warfare is built into, but even though you can access it for free to play, that's the Modern Warfare game, just partitioned off like a free trial would be for, say, Black Ops Cold War during this free to access week. Maybe it's something like that, though, that we won't see a change until 2022's COD game, where with Modern Warfare 2 sort of taking the reins, then Modern Warfare 2019 could be entirely rebranded as Warzone, and that's just the base application at that point. Though that would be kind of an unprecedented curveball, given that that would then almost erase all of Modern Warfare or the public-facing side of it, because you can go back to any Call of Duty you want and still play that, whether that be Modern Warfare Remastered, Black Ops 2, Modern Warfare 3 from way back in the day. Even though it's not supported, that game isn't necessarily erased from history per se. But also we end up seeing that there's the second possibility that maybe Vanguard could provide an answer. Vanguard could create a launch window for Warzone in and of itself. Given that it's rumored to have its own map coming to Warzone, given there's the rumors that Vanguard will run on Modern Warfare 2019's engine, and also given the rumors that the Modern Warfare 2019 engine may have some fundamental upgrades made to it, that could be a catalyst to purge Warzone from just Modern Warfare, create its own application for the game with these upgrades for console versions and the engine fundamentally speaking, and then launch into any given game from there. Sort of have Warzone be its own Call of Duty hub per se, where you have that main sliver of the UI for Warzone jumping into the game, but also where you see, say, the ability to jump into Modern Warfare or Black Ops Cold War, where you have Modern Warfare right now. Those panels could be updated to launch into the 2 most recent games. So while it's almost impossible to pinpoint down a specific time frame here at this, I think this would be done so that the spotlight could be on it, so there's enough marketing approach to be like, hey, download the Warzone client, the Warzone application here with this, instead of just having to try and sneak it into a weekly update or something like that. But I also think that it could be something that's launched in tandem with something else, i.e. Vanguard's launch later this fall. If they were to go the route of a standalone application, it would absolutely need that marketing push. But if it's just a giant update, that could realistically happen at any major point in the Call of Duty year. My best guess, though, again, would be in tandem with something like the integration for Warzone into Vanguard. That's probably the next substantial update we'll see, outside of adding in, say, new perks theory to be at the start of Season 5. But again, kind of fundamentally speaking, changing everything of what we know, adding in a brand new map, adding in new weapons, things like that. That would be the best time that I think we'd see that next generation update at the earliest. But anyways, that's kind of where I'm at here at this. I do think, though, that when we think about Raven expanding, adding more stuff to the team, it has been rumored that they're working on an anti-cheat here, though I don't know how much I believe that, just because every couple of months we see these tweets saying, hey, we banned 50,000 accounts or something like that. Meanwhile, that's, again, just a band-aid on a huge gash where those cheaters are already back on the game on alt accounts, second accounts, third accounts, 8 accounts, whatever it may be. But, I mean, one can hope, right? But anyways, that was a thought that has been kind of just sitting in my head for the last week and a half, almost 2 weeks now at this point, of when are we going to see these substantial changes? Because there is a lot that going forward, if Call of Duty is to support Warzone, if Warzone is supposed to be that through line for future games where everything's integrated in and it's kind of the springboard for the Call of Duty experience down to the 6v6 and premium titles, that's something that it's going to need to keep up with the times. And if the last console generational shift is any indication, I mean, we had Ghost, Advanced Warfare, and Black Ops 3 on sort of cross-platform or cross-generational games. But truth be told, Black Ops 3 should have never gotten that far. It should have only been Ghost and Advanced Warfare. Black Ops 3 was a shell of that game on last generation, and it was just kind of an abomination, if you ask me. So, at the very most, I don't think that we should go past Vanguard without this update, this standalone application, and hopefully that's something that we do see followed through, hopefully sooner rather than later, so that players can have the fullest of the extent of their next generation hardware being utilized, the fullest of an even playing ground across console and PC. But right now, we just don't know. So wanted to have a casual discussion here on you guys with this and kind of let my thoughts go, see what you guys think of it. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to drop a like down below. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure you guys subscribe so you don't miss a single thing regarding all things Warzone, Modern Warfare, Cold War, COD 2021, Vanguard, whatever we're calling it, anything COD related. If you're interested, hit that subscribe button. If you also want to follow me over on Twitter and Instagram, those are the best places to get connected outside of YouTube. Practically live on both those. So if you guys want to strike a conversation, ask me a question, whatever it may be, that link is down there in the description below. That said, thanks so much for watching. Modest Man Espresso. I'll see you guys later. Take care and peace.